What's up, Nerfers, and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm taking a look at a brand new manual springer called Excalibur. Designed by Sillybutts and combining elements of the Alchemist and Caliburn into one blaster. This is available at Out of Darts, and I'll put some links down below, whether you want to get the blaster itself or just top up on some ammo. Using those links down below does help support my YouTube channel. Now, what I think is the biggest standout feature of Excalibur is that if I remove the mag, I can swap between using half-length darts or full-length darts with a simple pull of a pin. This piece comes out, and now I can shove full-length mags straight in there. Essentially, this makes it a very good beginner blaster for people transitioning from kids' toys up to the competitive scene. And while I've got this blaster in hand today, I'm going to be comparing two different full-length darts against two different half-length darts. Now, being 3D printed, there's a bunch of different color options you can choose from on Out of Darts website. There's also 3 different power levels of spring you can choose from. But taking 280mm hardware store springs, there's a bunch of different ones for the Caliburn that'll fit inside of this. Changing the spring is incredibly easy. Push in and turn a retention cap at the end, and that spring comes straight out. Easy to quick swap between games, maybe have different FPS limits throughout the day. Very convenient to have a quick swap cap at the end. Up the front of the blaster, Out of Darts sent me one of Silly's Spigot P-cars to try, which I'll be using for the accuracy test later on. A little extra benefit of that is you can fit a Mega XL dart over the end and fire it off. Some groups, not mine, but some groups around the world have a Mega XL shield breaker rule, so you're able to destroy someone who's holding a shield by simply putting one of those on the end of your barrel and firing it. Now, if you're going to be quick swapping your spring, you're going to also want to quick swap your barrel. Very easy to do on this blaster. You've got a hex screw underneath, loosen that, and the whole barrel pulls straight out. The one I've got on here today is the 14-inch, but there's also a 12-inch one, which will be more suited to weaker springs than what I've got in mind today. Optionally, you can also get a threaded breech adapter for this one, so it takes threaded worker barrels, just showing the pure versatility of the Excalibur. Down the bottom, I've attached a vertical grip to the inbuilt Picatinny rail. Additionally, inside the front end, there's some bearings, which makes the prime incredibly smooth. And you can also deprime the blaster at any time by holding in the trigger and letting it go forwards again. Compared to the old Caliburn, I found the prime is a fair bit quieter. No more scratching plastic on plastic, thanks to those bearings. Another thing compared to the old Caliburn is there's hardly any movement between the parts at all. They fit nice and snug together. And that is thanks to a nut up the front that's for tensioning it. Now, earlier I showed you that it can take both half-length and full-length mags. What I didn't show you is how it does that. So it actually has 2 side-by-side mag releases inside the magwell. And that's simply because Talon mags have their lock set up a little bit higher than full-length mags. In practice, it doesn't really change how the blaster operates. It still feels like having just the one mag release, but it is split in half down the middle. Also, touching on the mag release, there is no gravity drop. It's a bit too firm inside of the magwell there, so you'll just have to pull it out with your offhand. The grip is quite substantial, fits an adult-sized hand very nicely, and you can also choose between one with a palm rest or one without. The palm rest is nice, it stops your hand from slipping down on the grip at all. Up the top, there is plenty of Picatinny real estate for adding any kind of attachments you like. I've got a 1x red dot sight on there. But you could add flashlights, cameras, all sorts, all at the same time with this thing. Overall, it's quite a sturdy blaster and a bit of an upgrade over the old Caliburn. But let's go test it out and see how it performs. Here goes, 15 worker full lengths with the Silly P-car attached. 196, 196, 198, 153, 198, 202, 196, 199, 203, 201, 195, 198, 194, 201, 199. Pretty consistent. I'll send one more over because I reckon that low one could have been a bad dart. Have a look at the quality of how these full-length worker darts are shipped. They just come in a plastic bag. Could have potentially got one damaged. So here's one more shot. 199. Very consistent with the worker darts if we exclude that bad one. Now, to put the piece into the magwell to swap to half-length darts, do need to prime the blaster and get that bolt out of the way. And now, just put that pin in. Doing worker half-length darts now. So this should be a direct comparison, worker against worker. 223, a little bit higher. 220, 223, 218, 215, 209, 219, 219, 218, 221, 219, 224, 220, 217, 223. That's all 15 shots. Again, incredibly consistent from the Excalibur. Over the chrono, full-length worker darts averaged 198 feet per second with an incredibly consistent standard deviation of 2.6. As you'd expect with lower friction, our half-length version of the same darts went a little bit faster, averaging 219 or 21 FPS faster out of the muzzle. They also had a very consistent standard deviation of their own, sitting at 3.7, though I did notice I was hitting the chronograph with some of those darts. Now, considering this is the strongest spring option available for Excalibur on Out of Dart's website, I would have liked to see it hit 300 feet per second. But for a blaster aimed more towards beginners, I do think 220 makes sense with an easy prime, and with a consistency like this, it does look very promising for the accuracy test. Okay guys, my accuracy tests, they're pretty straightforward. We're shooting at a 1 meter diameter round target from 30 meters away, or 100 feet for my American viewers. Now, all the darts I'll be comparing today include the worker full lengths you've already seen on the chrono test. I'll also be including my small limited supply of X-Shot full lengths, which I used in the X-Shot long shot video a few weeks ago. I'll also be comparing worker heavy darts with the green tips there against saber heavy darts. Kicking things off, I'm going to start with the worker full lengths. Here goes. That's a hit. They're going a little low on the target though, but that's another hit. That's more near the middle. That's pretty much bang on the middle. A little more to the left. More to the right. Overall, not too bad though for a full-length dart. A little bit higher and to the right. That one fish-tailed in the air and then ended up high and right of the target. More to the right, that one. There we go, nice and straight out of the barrel that time. Some of these don't go overly straight out of the barrel, but the ones that do, they seem pretty much on par with what you'd expect a half-length dart to do. It's that some of them maybe have got bent in transport or something like that, which sends them off on a different trajectory. A little more to the left, and that's all 15 of those. I'm hoping that with the better packaging on the X-Shot darts, they're going to be straighter foam and should end up going straighter as well. Got like a little detent or something in there that holds the breech closed when you point it up, which is nice. Let's get those X-Shot full-length darts tested. Here goes. A little more to the right. Maybe they'll all do that though. Oh no, that went way off to the left. There's one in the center. A little more to the right. Bit low. So far these look a little worse than the worker darts. That one hit the tree above, so yeah, definitely a bigger dispersion on the X-Shot darts. That one, whoa, that missed by at least a meter to the right there. That was nice and centered. Bit high. Just hit the target to the right. Missed to the right. Hit the target to the right. I reckon that's empty now. There we go. So, even though they are kind of packaged dodgily, the worker darts seem to have the better accuracy than X-Shot, at least out of this PCAR, printed rifling. Let's swap to half-length darts now. So again, we need to open the breech up, put this piece in, and then insert the pin. There we go, adapted to half-lengths. And these ones here are the green-tipped worker heavies. That was pretty close to the middle. My little cap for the scope broke off. Fix that later. A little low and right. Same spot. Same spot. Was that consistently going low and right? Back towards the middle a bit. Back over to the right. Same with that. Even though these are going a bit more to the right, I think if we compare the grouping size, this might be the best so far. That felt like it might be empty now. Nope. Oh, still got more. For some reason that primed extra smooth. Okay, I'm going to swap now to saber heavy darts. Just to explain, the worker heavy darts are a little bit lighter than the saber heavy darts. So I suspect the sabers might be more accurate, and from past testing, that's what I would assume as well. But we'll see what they do with Silly's PCAR. That's a hit, pretty close to the center there. Same with that. A little more to the right. Same with that. A little bit low and to the right. Bit to the right. Bit to the left. Bit low. That's more to the center. Perhaps this PCAR is more suited to lighter weight darts than the sabers. Oh, good to know. Different setups are always going to prefer different types of darts. But that's all 15 of the sabers. Let's take it back inside and compare the groupings. From a distance of 30 meters away, Worker full lengths shot a 60 centimeter spread. X shot full lengths were pretty bad in this setup with a 1.5 meter spread. Worker heavies were the best of the bunch with this setup, getting a 40 centimeter spread. And Saber heavies didn't play well with this setup, getting a 90 centimeter spread. Both of the dart types that I expected to win, X shot and Saber, actually performed badly in this testing. And I believe it has to do with the rifling. Silly's Spigot P-Car has quite an aggressive twist rate of 12 degrees. For comparison, the B-Cars I usually use only have a 3 degree or 5 degree twist. I suspect 12 degrees is simply too much spin for both X-Shot and Saber darts. For example, when I fired X-Shot full lengths through a 3 degree B-Car a couple of weeks ago, they also had a 60 centimeter spread, just like Worker full lengths in today's test. Saber darts, on the other hand, when fired out of a 5 degree B-Car like the Saber one, well, they slightly beat today's Worker heavy darts test. If you're someone who mainly uses Worker darts though, Silly's P-Car does seem to be a great option for those. Okay guys, I've come straight from the accuracy test with a quick detour to find the missing pin out of the back of my sight there. But of the 4 dart types that I've tested, the 2 Worker darts seem to work the best with Silly's Spigot P-Car. Perhaps they were what were used for testing it in the first place. It is quite an aggressive twist on there, so some other darts like Sabers and of course the X-Shots might be getting too much spin out of this compared to B-Cars that I normally use. As for the blaster itself, I think it is an excellent iteration of the Caliburn, merging it with some of the best parts of the Alchemist. Adding the quick swap springs and the quick swap barrels is a huge benefit for people who might play more public leaning games where you have different FPS caps depending on the event. Also, the ability to swap between half length and full length darts does make this a very nice blaster for beginners who might have a full arsenal of standard Nerf blasters at home and just want to dip their toes into the hobby with having a blaster that can fire both ammo types. I do wish the mags would gravity drop. It does have a skinny pusher in there, but for some reason it just has too tight of a retention that they don't drop by gravity. You have to pull them out. That's pretty much my only downside of the blaster. Anyway guys, that's all I've got time for today, talking about the Excalibur. Find it at the links down below to Out of Dart's website, where you can also find anything else you need in the Nerf hobby. Like, comment, subscribe and all of that. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.